How's it, Keshav? Hard lines. A few days ago, you guys scored 180 plus on that pitch. How different was the surface tonight?
I think it was very similar to an extent, maybe a touch slower at the start. We always felt like there was something in this wicket throughout, and we showed that against Mumbai, but Mike kept on, sorry. However, I just think it's a case of applying ourselves. We've obviously struggled at the top Power 1 game against the Durban Super Giants, where Shea and Connor managed to get us in a good start, and Shea carried his bat through. But it's, 4 games over here out of the 5, we've had the similar story with the way we've started. So it's really something that we need to address. Obviously, we're making a little bit of hard work, but nevertheless, sometimes you need a little bit of a jolt along the journey, but we need to react a lot better and rectify the problem a lot sooner.
Kesh, someone like Dewald came into this competition, a lot of the spotlight on him. And I guess his returns with the bat is something that he'd be quite disappointed about. I wonder, from a leadership perspective, the coaching staff, some of the seniors in the team, what's the sort of messaging you want to get across to him? Because some of the dismissals, including this afternoon, weren't great.
Yeah.
And what's the messaging you're trying to get across to him, hopefully in the playoffs? Yeah,
just not only Dewald, I think as a batting unit, Shafain's been bailing us out a number of times. And, I think that the disappointing thing from a leadership point of view is we're having good chats and we're just not implying. We're doing a complete opposite when we go in the middle. But I think, Dewald's obviously searching for a little bit of rhythm. He's come off some good form and, it happens in one's career. But we know the caliber of player he possesses, so hopefully he figures it out soon. He's a large part of our batting unit, and we know that he single-handedly can take a game away. So, we're going to use the sort of law of hit and miss, and hopefully he comes right in the next games that we have remaining in this competition.
I just want to ask you about the guy you just walked past. He, has had a hell of a lot of success in this competition. He was key to Sunrisers winning it. What makes him such an effective bowler in this format?
Us for the last 6 years now at the Dolphins, and you know what, you got to compliment the man. People talk about X factor, and X factor for me is being able to hold the length for a long period of time, and that's literally what Otas does with his odd bumper and a little bit of a change up. He keeps it simple. He doesn't leave the stumps, and if you look at the best bowlers in the world, they don't leave the stumps. Kudos to him, the way he bowled today. All his dismissals were basically the top of, middle and off. If you look at all of it, it's as simple as that. And I think he's someone that sums up conditions very quickly. He's a world-class performer. I think he's done that in international level as well. He showed how he can change the game single-handedly on the head and defend the game. He's probably one of the best dead bowlers we have, and I think he's the most successful bowler in this competition. I think he's showing his worth right now.
Now, like you said, you probably need a bit of a jolt at this point, just before the playoffs. You've just come off 3 great victories and that. You said maybe something needs to change. Now, I know you're a smart cricketer and you're thinking the whole time, maybe it's a little bit fresh, but what is that? Is it possibly a change of personnel up in the order? Is it a change in the batting order? What is your immediate thoughts? I know it's very fresh at the moment.
Yeah, obviously, I think maybe a little bit of a change of personnel, maybe a reshuffle of the order. I don't want to think of something whilst emotional, so let the emotions come down, and tomorrow we'll have good chats, and obviously we've got a big game on Saturday against JSK. Hopefully we can finish as high as we can in this competition, maybe a few results and still look at top 2, but we just want to make sure that we're winning the game. That's the main thing. But I think might have to look at a bit of a change of personnel with a bit of a reshuffle of the batting order. It's gone on 9 games, and it's similar sort of scenarios playing out. So it's really something that we have to have a look at. Even on the bowling front, as much as we only had 126, there is areas where we can improve as a unit. Obviously, we've bowled really well after the 3rd game in this competition, but as a unit we lose as a unit and we win as a unit, so we've got to find our own rhythms as a unit. We're still searching for that clinical game in all facets of the game. Our fielding has been very up and down, and hopefully that's something that it's an attitude and we each can bring to the party.
Just a last question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry, I don't know if you have to go.
No, it's good.
Why was the decision to play on that pitch again? Do you know? Maybe that's not in your pay grade. Obviously, MI Cape Town struggled. Wasn't the greatest game from them. Why the same pitch?
Yeah, look, that wasn't actually us. I think that might have been either the groundsman or the league, so I can't comment too much on that. So yeah, I don't want to say something that could possibly get me in trouble. I really don't know from that perspective, yeah.
Kesh, just given the way you guys are looking at your batting lineup now and pondering changes, how reluctant would you be though to sort of mess with the bowling unit? Because obviously that's one of the possibilities, but the bowling unit's done really well. But we saw tonight that once you lost 5-6 wickets, there was just nothing. Is it tempting to maybe get a sort of extra all-rounder into that lineup?
Yeah, it is very tempting. I think in any T20 format of the game, you have specialists for a reason. You're obviously going to have your 6 batters, and generally, if they don't score the runs, then you shouldn't be winning the game. Let's be honest, we can't always try and cover for all departments. I think as a bowling unit, we've done really, really well, and it's very hard. It's a fine one to do. Maybe it's more conditions based that we can afford for maybe a Roston Chase to come in and that sort of thing, but we'll have to assess conditions on the day. But for now, I think if everyone just owns their own space and just takes control of their own game, then we're all streamlining in the right direction. But yeah, I wouldn't try tinker too much, as tempting as it can be. I think, guys, we've got some real experience within our batting lineup, and that's not only internationally. I think domestically, there's the guys that have played a number of games, and it's only a matter of time before sort of they click, to the rhythms of the game. Maybe it's a lot of pressure as well, which is normal. Your first season, big stage, these things happen. But I think we're going to see a different side come Saturday, and that's the main thing. We can only put our best foot forward. We can't dwell on the past. Obviously, like I said, it's disappointing to only get 1 out of 5 wins at home and 1 draw. But nevertheless, we are put in a place where we can qualify for the playoffs, and yeah, hopefully a little bit of a shake-up, and then we can go 3 games back-to-back. Yeah, then get ourselves in the position to be in that final.